Samsung has seemingly been pretty complacent in its smartphone hardware innovation game over the past 3 to 4 years, but this comparison really puts things into perspective, and if anything else, should be a warning sign for the Korean giants, because there's clearly something going on here and we need to talk about that. Hey guys, I'm Ryan Thomas, and these two phones are near enough $1,000, run the latest version of Android, sport the highest end chips with lots of RAM and fast storage, and come in big chassis with large displays. They both have triple cameras on the back, in-display fingerprint scanners, and are both available in a wide variety of regions, not least the US, where Android Police is based. So from that description, you might think that these are very similar, but that's just not the case. And here's why. I think it's fair to say that over the past few years, Samsung has rested on its laurels when it comes to hardware in particular. Sure, the S25 Plus has the latest Snapdragon 8 Elite like the OnePlus 13, and actually from a performance standpoint, these two are as close as it gets. Unlike the Pixel 9 series, we actually have a properly high-end performance setup this time that isn't just fast now, but should stay fresh for a good few years down the road before showing any signs of slowing down. I'm not going to give Samsung a hard time for performance, it's one of the fastest phones out there, but the OnePlus 13 is right there with it, and thankfully both of these phones start at 256 gigs of storage with 12 gigs of RAM. But I think the displays are second for the most closely matched items. They're both big Quad HD Plus 120Hz AMOLED LTPO panels that have variable refresh rate, so it can dip all the way down to save battery, and in my testing were really as bright as each other in HDR and SDR. They're both exceptional panels, but I think I prefer the color tuning of the S25 Plus out the box, and realistically, given that's where most people are going to leave the settings for these screens, it makes sense to claim it the winner. You can go into the tuning profiles and adjust both displays, but I still feel like the S25 Plus is just that bit nicer. It's not a vast difference, but it's enough to take the edge here. And although OnePlus's Oxygen OS has seen vast improvements over the initial Color OS switch, and it is a nice setup that I use daily, I like the look of it, I like the feel of it, it's very responsive, it just cannot match the sheer quality of One UI 7 that runs on the S25 Plus. It has a clean aesthetic, it's packed with features including Galaxy AI, even if what is here is actually quite gimmicky and not all that useful in my opinion. And the S25 Plus will also receive 7 years of upgrades instead of the 4 that you get with the OnePlus. So even if you weren't necessarily going to dive into all the different options and settings, having the support for an extra 3 years does go a long way. Because beyond this point, it almost seems like these two are from different market segments altogether. Despite the Plus's MSRP actually being $100 higher than the OnePlus 13, which is $900, for the same kind of storage configuration, the sheer amount of hardware that you get with the OnePlus 13 versus the S25 Plus, it's almost embarrassing, to be honest. Starting in the most obvious place for me, and that is the camera, because while sure both of these phones do have 4 cameras, a triple camera on the back and a single selfie shooter on the front, the quality disparity is quite stark in my opinion. The 50 megapixel main 1x cameras aren't that far off. The 13 sensor is slightly larger and in my opinion does capture the more natural, almost film-like colors, which make for more pleasing images to me, but that is subjective, so do let me know in the comments what you think of the color in particular between these two phones. And also OnePlus gives you that extra virtual focal length option in its camera app where Samsung doesn't, and that is a big plus for me. Where these two really slide apart is the ancillary cameras and actually the 3x telephotos in particular. The OnePlus 13 sensor is 5 times the resolution and double the size. So even with Samsung's advanced computational photography, the S25 Plus's long range shots just cannot compete. And this gets exacerbated the further you pinch into your images. There's just clearly more detail with the 13's long shots and it's not really close. Although it is a little closer with the ultra wide, Samsung actually has a hair bigger sensor, but the resolution is around a quarter, and in practice both are pretty decent if not particularly exceptional in this area. I do prefer, once again, OnePlus's ultra wide due to the color tuning in particular, but let me know once again in the comments what you think. And in selfies, it's a mixed bag. The 13's front facer is almost triple the resolution and a fair bit bigger. It also captures a wider field of view in my testing, so it's easier to get all your friends or family in the shot. But despite the hardware disparity, there's not quite as vast a difference in the final products. Video is an area where Samsung can quite easily claw back here with its fantastic log recording mode and video assist tools to help you get good looking video. I think in color, contrast, and especially stabilization, the S25 Plus comfortably beats the OnePlus 13 in video, where OnePlus has been struggling a little bit in this realm since the 12 and the 11. Given these phones are both pretty big, pretty heavy, the S25 Plus is slightly smaller and lighter, you'd expect the batteries to be pretty similar sizes, and well, that's just not the case either. The 13 cell being silicon carbide versus the traditional lithium-ion tech found in the Samsung, it's also 20% larger, over 20% larger, which does make a noticeable difference to longevity. Where the 13 can be and is a 2-day phone for me, the Plus is more of a 1.5, 1.75, which is by no means not a bad battery, but compared directly to, well, its closest rival, it just cannot compete. And that's before we get onto wireless charging speeds, where OnePlus's wired charging is over double the wattage and its wireless charging is over triple the wattage, meaning that it charges substantially faster whether you are connected to the wall or not. It's not like these two are from different eras, but well, these specs make it feel like they are. It's crazy. And the Samsung is the newer and more expensive device. You just feel like you're getting that much more with the OnePlus 13, despite it being $100 cheaper. The alert slider, the extra battery, the faster charging, the much more capable long-range camera. I prefer the shape of the 13, the buttons. Okay, the S25 Plus for sure has the slightly faster ultrasonic fingerprint reader. They're both very responsive though. And given how far OxygenOS has come since that ColorOS transition, the software gap isn't as drastic as it used to be either. It feels like Samsung just didn't try with the S25 Plus, and as a result, the likes of the OnePlus 13 have been able to catch up and overtake at this price point. The 13 is probably most people's contender for phone of the year right now, and I will be very impressed should a phone be able to dethrone it before the year's out. The OnePlus 13 makes the S25 Plus hard to recommend due to that hardware disparity, but if you don't care about that, then the Plus is still a very fine phone, even if there are many better options on the market in my opinion. The OnePlus 13 hasn't been dethroned yet, barely breaking a sweat against Samsung's $1,000 S25 Plus. Let me know in the comments which of these two you would buy. Would you buy neither? I want to hear all about that in the comment section. I think you know my answer. I'm going with the OnePlus. I like that alert slider and cameras if anything else. And I just think that Samsung's made its S25 Plus just hard to recommend, especially compared to, well, the competition in Europe, because there's a lot more than just the OnePlus 13. And Samsung's own S24 Ultra is either heavily discounted or very cheap on the second-hand market, and makes for a better phone than the S25 Plus. So that's the one I would have if I was going to go Samsung. Whilst you're down there in the comment section, please do hit like if you enjoyed today's content and subscribe to never miss another upload. Thank you all so much for watching today, guys. I've been Ryan Thomas, and I will catch you later. Cheers.